I feel like I just swallowed my gum because I just realized I had gum in my mouth.
And you swallowed it?
And that's horrible. You don't chew gum when you're doing the interviews. So here we are live. I am your host, Myki Angeline, working with the Women's International Music Network. And we are here in Sacramento, California.
That's right.
And this is important because I'm here with the wonderful, famous, loving Brie Darling of Fanny Walked The Earth.
Yes.
Iconic all-female band that originated from Sacramento.
Yeah, we kind of, the base of the band started here, right in Sacramento. That's right down the street.
And I think it's awesome because I've been living here 19 years now.
Wow.
Which people say then that makes me a native. I'm like, I don't know if that makes me a native. But
You know more about the one-way streets than I do.
this is true. I do know more about the one-way
I don't
streets.
know anything about Sacramento anymore because when I left, I was 18.
But when was it?
Okay,
Let's give the year.
That was in like 1967, 68, a long time ago.
Before 1970.
Before 1970. And there, it wasn't the same, especially where I came from, because I actually lived in Folsom, which is right outside of Sacramento.
Oh yes, because I actually lived in Folsom for a few years.
Did you really?
I did.
Okay, well,
so I know where that is. Folsom, we call it.
When I left Folsom, there were 5,000 people. How many are there now?
I don't have it memorized, but it's way more than that.
Way
Because
more.
there's over 700,000 in the greater 916 anyway.
Right.
The greater Sacramento area. And I'm sure there's got to be at least 50-something, if not more, thousand.
Somebody just
It
told
grew.
me it's almost 80.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's grown exponentially and it's the space between El Dorado Hills and Folsom is getting smaller and
Yes.
smaller. The development is happening so fast here.
So not only
That's
do I not
crazy.
really know my way around Sacramento, I actually never did because I only lived here until I was about 17. I'd been driving for about
Maybe
a year.
and then you left.
And then I left. So, but Folsom I knew inside and out, but at the time it was 5,000 people, now it's 80. So my parents passed away, fairly in the last few years, and I don't go back as often, but when I do, I don't hardly recognize it.
It's
changed.
crazy, right? Oh my gosh.
Huge.
And it's so huge. And so being from Sacramento, your band, all female,
Yes.
from the Sacramento area. So you are the drummer. Was drumming, and we're going to get into, they have a new album, by the way, so stick with us. We're going to get to that.
Yeah, and
But-
I want to brag a little bit about why Fanny and Fanny Walked The Earth are kind of a big deal.
Yes, they're kind of a huge big deal. So was drumming the first instrument you learned or wanted to learn?
You know what happened, and I really am grateful for this. My parents, especially my mom, coming from a Filipino culture, which is very musical.
Oh, that was our other thing, is that we're Filipino.
Yes, we like
So we-
Filipina, yeah, so we love that.
And in Sacramento, but go ahead.
Which is, and I have to throw this in because it's kind of part of it, which was the same thing about back in 1966 when I met June and Jean. We happened to be all half Filipina. One played drums, one played bass, one played guitar.
Okay.
And in a time when women didn't really play, that was weird back in 1966. And that we found each other because they lived in Sacramento proper.
Okay.
And that we found each other and we happened to be the right little glue of something to happen and start something was unusual. Because still when I meet, Filipino women, especially in this music industry, I feel like I have a sister.
Oh, heck yeah. That was like when we first met.
Right, exactly.
Because
There's an immediate
It was
connection.
immediate because the whole Filipina thing. And then when you found out Sacramento, it was even worse. You're like, what?
I know.
That was so
I love
cool.
that. So what was your question? Because I've forgotten. Drums.
Drums.
When I did first start playing, my mom encouraged us to read and to share and to pick a musical instrument.
Okay.
I picked, because I didn't know what to pick. I didn't even think of it. I was a kid. I was probably around, maybe 9 or 10.
Oh, that's young.
Yeah, and I picked a piano.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of money, and my mom found, and my one brother picked drums, and the other brother picked guitar. And I got piano. And so my mom went out and found a upright piano and had it brought to the house somehow. And it was a big deal for us. And she was going to have somebody come tune it, and the bridge was broken. So it was never tunable.
Oh.
So it sat in the house probably in my old child memory, it probably was there for a little while, and I learned very little on this very out-of-tune piano.
Yeah.
But what happened and what started me playing drums is, first of all, I have the best brothers on the planet.
Okay.
Older brother Philip, younger brother Henry. And they always, gave me stuff like, we were all crazy about music. I was always constantly listening to the radio. I would break mine or wear it out. My older brother would give me his, fix mine, and then I would break his, and he would give me his my fixed one and take the broken one. And my younger brother, I was playing his drum set in the living room when a band came over to audition my older brother. Because we traded. We were Sherry kids,
Right. Oh, you have to be in Filipino culture. There's usually a lot of us.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know that because I didn't go to the Philippines again until much later, which I would love to tell if there's time. But so I was playing my younger brother's drums when a band came over to audition my older brother, and the band and the manager walked in and saw me playing, and I got the job right then and there.
Are you kidding me?
And I didn't even really know how to play.
That was going to be the next question. Did you even know how to play? But whatever it was you played, he liked.
Yeah, and I, yes. He and actually the woman was the manager was a woman.
And when was this?
This was in 1964.
64.
So I was 14 when I first started playing professionally.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I seem to remember, like, I guess I would practice on the sofa and with drumsticks, but so I think I just had to learn. And the scary part is it was a real band that played for that day, real places like teen centers and on the military bases, because there was the May 13th.
Right.
Mather, I don't know if Mather is still open.
It's not. It's there, but it's not a working airport. Is that what you mean? But
Right,
there's still things going on there. Yes.
Right. So we would. So those were the places to play in high school things, but they were really professional for the day. We don't even do this anymore, but everybody belonged to the union. So I had to join the union at 14, and that was another. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of money. That was a big expense for my family. So I remember being a freshman in high school thinking, because I was scared. I didn't really know how to play.
Okay.
Which is another thing I'll share with you. I get scared of a lot of stuff, and what I've learned is to do it anyway.
Do it anyways. Go for it.
Yep. And so I was thinking, well, we can't really afford that, so I'm not going to have to go out and do this thing that I don't know how to do. But my dad managed to sell some things that he owned and got enough money so that I could join the union in 1964 for $80.
That is great.
It is great.
Support from your parents. $80 is a lot of money.
They
back then.
were wonderful. My mom used to cook burgers, and they would move the furniture, and we would rehearse in our living room.
Oh my.
I know.
That's awesome.
And then I got to be I was not very popular in high school, and I was in a band, so all of a sudden I got a little bit more popular. Which was
Isn't that how it always works?
It might be.
That happened to me when I first started working in radio. It was like all of a sudden people thought I was somebody. I'm like, I'm no different than I was before, but something about it. So being in a band, all of a sudden people just want to be your friend or your biggest fan.
So let's just take it. I think maybe I have a lot of friends now.
So then you stuck with drums.
Well, you know what? It was fun for me, and it felt good. And like I said, I wasn't popular. All of a sudden, I had an identity. All of a sudden, I had a position in life. I had, I felt safe in my music. And I played with 4 other guys in the band, or maybe it was 3 other guys.
And you were the only female.
I was the only female, and that's happened a lot. And you know what? There was probably a lot of things that I've never talked about. So thanks for bringing them forward. I probably enjoyed the attention because I got even a little bit more because I was the only girl in the band. And the guys were not critical of that. There was never any kind of weird, but then I think the lead guitar player was 12, and it was his band.
Okay.
Cliff Maurer from Sacramento area.
You all were young.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
a teen band.
You know what? Actually, it's funny because at the end and that band probably lasted a year or 2. It seemed like forever.
That still happens here in Sacramento. But go ahead.
Well, at one point, we had to get a new bass player, and he was 19. And I used to look at him and think,
when he's 19 and you think he's well, okay. If you're 14 and he's 19, yeah, he's old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seemed. I thought. Maybe I didn't think of him as an old man, but I thought
he definitely is older.
Yeah. Something. He was just different than me and the other 14-year-olds and the 12-year-old. But so that band lasted for a little while, and we knew of the bands in Sacramento. I guess that band broke up, and I can't tell you how because I don't remember anymore.
What was the music scene like in Sacramento then? I'm curious.
When I met June and Jean, that was through a gentleman who lived here, and it's probably in the Sacramento music history. His name was Dick Leventon.
Dick Leventon, okay.
He managed the Spelts, which was June and Jean's band.
Okay.
And he also managed some other bands that we kind of knew of in Folsom, because Sacramento was so far away at the time. When you don't drive, Sacramento's far from...
I promise you, Folsom is still far from Sacramento because I now live in El Dorado Hills,
Oh, okay.
which is just past Folsom. So getting here from there is like 35 minutes.
So the music scene actually was very alive because there were so many places to play. Because I know how in LA now, it's tough to get people to come to a gig. It's tough to find places to play. It's tough to get paid to play in clubs. You usually end up paying to play. I've not been part of that, but I hear about it.
Right.
And at the time, there was just, I don't know, we played Governor's Hall, we played, and we played with a lot of musicians who went on to do really well, like Timothy B. Schmidt
Okay.
from the Eagles and Poco. He was our contemporary at the time. And I've worked with him since in LA. Nice. Yeah, so there was a good music scene. There was always places to play in both the Svelts. Now this is moving forward 2 years because I met Jean and Jean in 1966. And we played all the time and we were totally self-sufficient. There were there's no such things as roadies then.
You did all your own stuff.
There were no lighting guys, there were no sound men, there was no crew.
Okay, but let me ask you, because this still happens today. Do you remember back then, were you ever mistaken for being the band member's girlfriend instead of the band?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, actually, here's my
That's
memories.
awesome.
I know, and everybody has their own experience, and
Yes.
it probably has a lot to do with my focus. And it's because my mom loved performing because she's Filipina.
Filipino, we love to perform.
So
Filipinos love it.
I think I probably learned that because I was like in front of the TV, like standing in front of my mom doing this tap dance that I didn't know how to do, making her smile and making her happy. And it taught me performing was good.
Yes.
So when I sat on my drums and when I got my first taste of the attention that I got, I was making people happy. So I didn't pay it. If there was ever, are you with the band instead of in the band, or if there was ever anything, I didn't notice it.
Okay. You were just wrapped up in
I was
what you were.
oblivious to
Okay.
that. I just wanted to get my drums on that stage, set them up, and go play, and just take it from there. That's when I paid attention.
And that's where Fanny came about, right? When did Fanny become an actual household name?
Okay, so this is kind of how it happened. That
Okay.
band Spells went on for a few years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And probably everything feels longer than it was. So edit down in your brains. It might not have been as long as it was. But so we played around town and we eventually moved to San Francisco Bay Area, and we were still the Spells. Played at the Fillmore Auditorium. We played with the Doors there. But this is in the afternoon. We weren't, we
played
weren't big
with the
enough to be,
Doors?
yes, we weren't big enough to be like, headliners.
Right.
But at that time, we were the Doors when we
Okay.
played with them. It was an afternoon show. I think it was kind of an audition or something. But so then I got pregnant at the age of 17. And
That's 3 years after learning the drums.
I know.
Okay.
Crazy, right? And then,
But it also was the 60s. People did everything younger.
and then maybe so.
Yeah. You didn't live as long.
But I continued playing until just before I had her with the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then they found Alice, who took over for drums.
Okay.
But we were all still a little tribe. We all still moved in clumps. So from the Bay Area, we ended up moving down to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And when they got down to Los Angeles, since I followed, the producer and manager, we used to go to clubs and jam and have a good time, and they heard me sing, although I wasn't in the band at the time because I had just had the baby.
Right. So you were in limbo.
Right.
Your big mom.
And by the way, I left the husband in San Jose, took the baby, and went down to Los Angeles
Snap.
with the girls. Oh, snap! But so I actually was a lead singer in the band for a little while.
You sing too?
Oh yeah,
I did not know this. I just learned this. This is awesome.
Okay, yeah. They actually hired me to be the lead singer, and then the management and producer went on, and I found this out about a year and a half. This was a big deal for me. It changed my life. They let me go because they wanted to have like a Fab Four kind of thing, like the Beatles kind of thing.
Okay, and 5 was one too many.
Yeah, they didn't want a front person. They didn't want to go the Led Zeppelin route. They wanted to go the Beatles
route, not the Led Zeppelin
which
route. All right.
was at the moment, at the time, it was devastating for me.
Oh, absolutely. How old were you at the time?
Probably 18, 19.
Yeah, that's totally devastating. So you weren't playing and singing, and they wanted just the 4, and so they just turned
Actually,
it
there's
over.
a picture on the record in the little bookie, and I don't know if anybody can see this. By the way, I designed this.
This is the new album we'll be pitching later, so you know. Yes, it's just so awesomeness, and it is out and available, and we'll give you links for that.
But I need to share this with
Yes.
you.
You created this.
This is like designed after the Fillmore East poster, the Fillmore poster design. You recognize that?
Right.
These are all Filipino tattoos. This is
Filipino tattoo.
This is our history and our heritage.
I love it.
So yes, I was, I got to design. I used to do our posters in 1966,
Oh, heck yeah.
and I do them now.
Yeah, your own advertising, promoting, merch.
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
in here, you said there was...
Yes, there's a picture of. It's weird. I know that you probably can't see this, but I'm actually playing guitar. This is from the period when I was the lead singer, but they didn't want me to just stand and sing.
So she's playing guitar there.
So,
You can
and I
see
don't.
that.
I only play guitar well enough to kind of write. I don't really play
Like
at all.
rhythm? Chords?
Yeah, exactly. Just enough to write songs.
Okay.
Because drums was my main instrument. But so during that time, I was lead singing and playing a little bit of rhythm guitar and some percussion, and then they let me go. But what that did for me in the band is the band went on and continued to make 4 records without me, and then I joined again. I'll tell you about that.
Ah.
But because I had the taste of what you could accomplish, being in a band and having a record and rehearsing and writing for a record, I wanted that back.
Okay.
So I didn't have the group anymore because they went on to work without me and made records and toured. And I spent the rest of my time in LA, which is still to this day, looking for that again, looking for that situation of finding people that I could be in a tribe with and
Yes.
have that thing that when you play music, the people that are in the business, the people that are in the band, it's a little community.
It is.
And it's a wonderful, supportive community, or it can be, and it is most of the time. I maybe my attitude is on the positive side, but good. But I find people mostly supportive. I get to meet people like you and feel like this connection.
Absolutely.
So, so that drove me to continue playing in music. So even after the other girls kind of stopped, I think some of them mostly just did Fanny and then discontinued. I had a wonderful career singing and playing percussion and playing drums with Keith Moon, Ringo. I did some shows with TPD at the time when she was working with Elton John. Carole King.
Man, all those legends.
Jimmy Buffett.
Man.
Robert Palmer. So
You've been in this industry for a long time.
yeah, so I got that. I got lifelong position as a professional musician because I kept looking for that situation again. And then fast forward from when so Fanny did 4 albums with Alice playing drums, and then I rejoined the band when Alice left and June left. And so it was me, Patty Quattro took over the guitar, and Jean and Myki from the first Fanny.
Okay.
So, and I forgot to mention this. So when we first came down, the band wasn't called Fanny yet. And this is the magic bullet. Fanny is the first all-girl band signed to make a complete full-length record.
Yes.
There were other girl bands, a couple of other girl bands who made singles, but Fanny made the first.
Full-length album.
Yeah.
And that was when?
That was the band was signed in 1969 as the Svelts, I think. No, excuse me. We're signed as Wild Honey, which is the band Alice came from. And then they renamed the band Fanny.
Okay.
And the first record came out in 1970. And then the last record, which was me and Patty Quattro, which was called Rock and Roll Survivors, which was Fanny's biggest hit, or highest charting single.
Which one?
It was called Butter Boy,
Butter Boy.
that Jean wrote about David Bowie.
Whoa!
Yeah, you hung out with some people.
Butter Boy is written about David Bowie. Yo.
Yeah. And
That is incredible. And then, okay, so, and who was the company you signed with that did that?
the last record, Rock and Roll Survivors, with Butter Boy on it, that was Casablanca Records.
Casablanca Records, I do remember them.
Okay.
And how did the name Fanny come about? That's something I don't know.
Okay, at the time I wasn't actually in the band, but the stories I've heard from June and G both, and Alice, is that, and there's a couple of different stories, but mostly they were looking for a name, and Richard Perry, their producer, I think he had an aunt that was named Fanny, and he might have brought it up, but it was a name that was mentioned, and it was a female name, and it was, and everybody liked it, and so they decided to go with it. After that, it became controversial, Fanny, because in England, it meant something else completely. It actually has a meaning, but it wasn't picked to be controversial.
Of course not.
It was a female name, and everybody liked that, and it was, Richard's aunt or whatever.
Yeah, all these innuendos come like way later after the fact.
And the funny thing was, when, on the last album, the last version of Four Women with Fanny, we were getting into the glam era, and we were partially affected by David Bowie, because he was a fan of the bands. He used to come to our shows and give us hints on one time, we're on stage, we're playing, and the lights are on us, and all of a sudden the lights shift, and they come off of us, and they're shining in the middle of the theater aisle coming down, and here's David walking down the aisle with his entourage, and takes a seat and watches the rest of the show, and told us after that show, always make an entrance.
Like he just did.
Yeah, like he
obviously.
just did.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and the last
Did that make you nervous?
No, I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't get nervous. Well, no, that's not true. If I feel like I'm auditioning for something, see, he loved the band. He was a supporter.
Oh, that's true. He already was a supporter. You've already talked with him, so it wasn't as big a deal.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it was a big deal.
I mean, as big a deal that you were nervous and you didn't know what to think. More
When
like you were excited he was there, but you knew him.
If I feel like somebody is coming to audition you or judge you or review you, I might get nervous. But if somebody's just there because they're there and we're not auditioning,
Then it's cool.
Yeah, then it's cool.
Nice.
I like performing. I don't like auditioning, and I'm still that way today.
So, okay, how long was Fanny together before? Because wasn't there a break after a while?
Well, Fanny, the recording Fannies
Yes.
lasted from I would say 70 to 75.
Okay.
And then,
And skipping ahead, we now have Fanny Walked the Earth. When did that come about and why?
that came about because there was a tribute being paid to June back where she lives in Massachusetts for her contributions as a pioneering woman musician.
Okay.
And also she has a school for girl musicians.
She does?
Yes.
June has a school for female musicians.
Yes, she does, for girls. Yeah, for young girls. It's called the Institute, it's IMA, Institute of Musical
Oh, we'll
Arts.
have to include that link. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh,
It is.
go
It's
June.
great. So she's been doing that, and so they paid tribute to her, and she called me up and asked me if I wanted to come and join them and do a little Fanny segment of the tribute, because it was a lot of other things going on. And of course I say yes, because I say yes to everything.
Me too.
And worry about it later.
Yeah.
And get over it and do it.
Yeah.
And so I went back there and played, and I was a little bit nervous because I hadn't been playing a whole lot, especially drums. And Jean told me, she said that she hadn't been playing much. But when we sat down and played, after the first song, we kind of went, ooh,
Why aren't we still doing this?
we are the shit.
We sound damn good.
Yeah.
We need to continue this.
We did. I think that all set
They
that
clicked,
spark.
yeah.
It clicked. And at the time, and still, my husband does a lot of work. One of the record companies that he does a lot of work with, he's a producer and produces this record.
Okay.
Is Blue Alon Records. And so the president of Blue Alon is a Facebook friend of both of ours. And I posted an 18-second snippet of Hey Bulldog from the tribute performance.
Oh.
And he saw it.
And that was it.
And that was it. The deal came from that.
Okay.
Because he saw it, he said, hey Dave, what's this about? Because he was a Fanny fan.
Aha.
He had all our records.
Oh my gosh.
Should I turn that off? Just let it ring.
Is that you?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Oops.
There you
Damn
go.
those iPhones.
It's all good. Do your thing. And then
Next time I'll kill it quick. But anyway, so the deal was made, and there was a lot of interesting stuff going on. Things just happened to be right. June and June happened to be in Los Angeles, because Kirk had mentioned the deal and said he was interested. They happened to be in Los Angeles. I think it was Gene's son who lives there. It was his birthday. And so Dave put together a lunch. We got together and agreed to do a record. And a year later, and then so
Snap.
So then Jean and Juna and I go, oh, I guess we better start writing. It's all good and fine that we had a deal, but I guess maybe we better write some songs. One of the things that's the first about this record.
There's 11 songs. There's 11 tracks on this album.
This is the first record that's of coming from Fanny that's all originals. There are no covers.
There are no covers in this, all originals.
And a lot of
I love this. And this just came out in March this year. That's why it's still available. I just love that you ladies are still relevant to this day. It's been over 50 years since you've been doing music. And I met you at the She-Rock Awards. That was through the Women's International Music Network here in Anaheim.
Yeah, they were great. They awarded us the Inspire Award so that we will inspire other women to know that
you do inspire other women.
You know, you can do this. And here's the cool thing for me is, like, especially for young girls, because I support the group I support is the Guitar Girls of Afghanistan. A friend of mine moved to Kabul and is teaching girls to play guitar.
Oh my gosh.
To give them hope.
That is amazing.
Because they live in, in the situation they're in, there's a shortage of
that is amazing.
Beautiful things. And so what we like to do is let people know that, I mean, here we are, with our white hair and our
I love
and
your
our
hair,
wrinkles.
by the way. This is like the coolest thing. You are so rock and roll.
It's almost natural. Almost. These are my roots growing up. So, and this I have to add back in now.
But it looks amazing.
So yeah, that women can see that not only can girls do it as well as men, and the opportunities are there, and you have to be ready for it, you have to be prepared, you have to work for it, but also that you can continue on, because here we are pushing 70. Pushing 70 out of the way.
Look at how proud they are to even say that. That's amazing. Okay, so to wrap this up, a couple of things. What have you seen that has changed as being a woman in industry from the 70s to today? Because since you obviously are still pushing music today, and you're kind of in and out of the industry, do you see changes, and have they been better? Have they been not the same?
Okay, I think it's better, but it's way too much the same. I think right now, listen, when the election happened, I was devastated for what has happened since then. And there's a couple of songs on here about that.
Okay.
Please listen to When We Need Her. It's all about women being there for women.
Okay, When We Need Her.
And what's happened is that people have realized they need to rise up and speak. Women have...
Use your voice.
Yeah, there are more women running for Congress right now than ever before.
This is true.
In history.
It's
and
amazing.
I love that. And some of them want to use this When We Need Her as a song for their campaign.
Their anthem for their campaign.
Yes,
oh my gosh.
And
that's cool.
So this is what I've learned is that, yes, there's been changes made and there's been an advancement, but there's still walls to push over, to knock over and break through.
We still have a ways to go.
And we just need to convince the younger women, and all women, younger, older, and in between, that there is a place for you. If you want to do this, don't let thinking that you don't have a spot here. Just because there's not enough women that have been given credit for what they do, awards, Grammys.
Right.
Just because that hasn't happened, don't think that you can't do this.
Absolutely.
Do it anyway and help it happen.
Don't wait for it to happen. Be a part of the change.
Yeah, be a part of the change.
Find your tribe, like
That's
Brie
right.
does,
I
continues
love that.
to, and has hers. Find that tribe and make that change.
Do it for yourself and do it for the women in the future as well.
Oh my gosh, you are so amazing. Thank you, Brie. Thank
you
you
for having
so
me.
much for this interview. That was amazing. Remember, the links will be down there. What is the way? Oh, FannyWalkedTheEarth.com. Link will be below. You can get their new album. Please do. And was there a last plug for?
Yes.
And then we'll go.
Right before we played and right before we got the She Rocks Award, our bass player had a minor stroke. And she's recovering
Which
very
is why
well.
she couldn't be there.
This is why I'm here right now, as I just came from visiting with her. And you can go to the GoFundMe, Jean Millington.
Okay.
I think it's Jean Millington campaign. There's
Okay.
Jean Millington Go. And you can contribute to all the costs that get incurred by going through
If you want to support,
So
Jean going through her recovering from her stroke, so she can get on the road to recovery,
So we can play.
so they can play.
We want to get out there and play. People are asking us to do that, and come on, Jean.
Yeah, love it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Go Sacramento. Buy the album.